Alright, hi everyone, so today we're going to be talking about divisibility by 3. Our conversation continues. So our first example problem that we're going to look at is just 24. And what we're going to focus on today is showing how this works in block form. So if I write 24 in blocks, we have 2 rods, and then we have 4 singles. Now what I'm going to do to prove that this works is I'm going to break down these 2 rods into 10 singles. But I'm going to write it in a way that will show how it's divisible. So if I write it in sets of 3, and then I have this 1, so I write 9 singles like this, and then I have this 1 left over, and I'm going to do the same for this rod. I have these 2 singles that are left over, and then I have these 2 groups of 9 that we know are divisible by 3, because whenever you add 2 groups, or whenever you add groups together that are divisible by 3, you know that it will still be divisible by 3. And then I'm going to take these 2 that are left over, and I'm going to add them to these 4 that we originally had. So that's going to be the same as adding these digits together. So I took these 2 singles that were left over and add them to the 4, and that gives us 6. And we know that 6 is going to be divisible by 3, so we know that 24 is divisible by 3. So now let's look at another example. If we have 732, sorry. If we have 732, we can write out 7 flats. And then we would break down each of these flats into groups of 9 rods, or 10 rods. And then we would end up with 1 rod left over from each of these 7. So I won't draw out all of them, but we'd have that 1 rod left over. And then we'd break down these rods again. We would have all of these left over. We'd break down each of the rods into 10 singles. And again, we would, for each of these rods, we would have 1 single left over. So we'd end up with 7 singles left over from each of these rods. So this is important to note because this shows that this number could go on forever and ever and ever, but when we break down these units into each smaller unit, we're still going to end up with that 1 left over. So even if we had like a number in the 10,000s place, it would still break down to that, the value of that digit in singles. So like here we had a value of 7 in the hundreds place. We still broke it down to having 7 singles left over. So we would do that for each of these digits. We'd break down the 3 rods into the 10 singles, and we'd end up with 3 singles left over after we remove that initial group of 9. And we'd be able to add all of those singles together, and we would get 12 singles left over. And we would know that 732 is divisible by 12, or divisible by 3, because the digits add to a number that's divisible by 3.